mean, you're a couple games, or one game, I think, under 500. How much does that benchmark mean to you when you have a chance to go over 500?
I think it's important. We have to keep finding ways to win games, and our job now is to try to chase the teams down that are in front of us. So by doing that, it'll allow us to get to that 500 mark. Our play over the last little while has been improved, so we just have to make sure we keep that for these 2 games before Christmas.
When you have a guy like Chris Tanev come back in the lineup, how does that make a guy like Noah Hannafin's life/job easier?
I think it allows Noah to feel like he's got a little bit more freedom to be able to join the play at times, to be able to get moving around in the offensive zone, and if he were to get himself caught or out of position, Chris would cover him off. And I think they have the relationship now too where Noah feels very comfortable if Chris provides him feedback, and the same thing the other way around. So both of them are really good with each other in regards to how they communicate with each other, but I think it's more about a safety thing, that Noah knows that if I do make a mistake, more than likely Chris is there to back him up.
What kind of confidence are you seeing Jacob Markstrom instill in the group when there is a turnover, a high danger chance against? He's sitting at .855 high danger save percentage this year, which is about 60 above league average.
Yeah, that's a real big thing for your team. You know, when there's certain points of a game where you lose momentum, and if your players know that if there's a mistake that gets made a lot, like we just talked about with Chris and Noah, that someone's there to back you up. And when the players know that their goaltender's on and he's feeling good about his game, he's going to stop a lot of those shots that we don't want to be giving up. But right from the beginning of the year, he's been that guy for us. So it allows the team to play, feel confident in front of him that if there were a mistake, that there's a pretty good chance he's going to bail him out.
We'd asked you earlier about Connor and his time in the American League, but what about you as a coach? Like, what did you learn, or how did you develop being down there in Grand Rapids?
A lot. I mean, the American League's a great league for all sorts of people, right from the trainers that we have here now. Our strength coach spent time down there. You learn how to work with professional hockey players, depending on where you come from, of course. You have a lot of older players that are still wanting to play in the NHL. Some of them are on their way out of the game. So you learn how to work with those type of players, as well as the importance of developing young guys. So you spend a lot of time thinking of ways where you can make a player like Connor Zary better and allow him to be ready for his opportunity at the next level, even though you know that, geez, if I put him out in this situation, he might not be ready for it, and this mistake might cost us a game. I think that's part of learning in the American League. And coaches, players, trainers, it's kind of all the same.
What's your philosophy on block shots in terms of the balance and how necessary they are, and how and the amount that you want in a game?
Yeah, they're necessary without a doubt. I mean, if you want to be a team that wins at the important time of the year, you have to have guys that are committed to sacrifice for their teammates, and it's a real big thing with the way some of these guys shoot nowadays. The balance is, if you're blocking a lot of shots, you don't have the puck enough. And, you know, when you look at our game against Florida, we were spending too much time in our own zone. So you like the structure that we had, but we have to do a better job of, once we get the puck, we have to complete our next play to get out, because I don't think you can rely on the shot blocking consistently, but there's certain times in the game where you have to have it, and our guys have shown a real good job over the last little while of being willing to eat pucks for their teammates.
Does your heart kind of skip a beat when you see a guy like Tanev do that game after game?
Not with him. It's funny because he knows how to do it. Over the years, he's learned how to put his body in the right spot, so most times he's getting hit where he should be hit. So he knows positioning in regards to where he is based on where the goalie and the goal is. And any area that he's probably been hit in before, when he's doing that, he's got extra padding in those areas. So I don't worry about Chris, because he has a real good understanding of how to place his body to keep him out of harm's way.
Coming to your point, you're not always going to be. You're gonna have nights where you do spend more time in your own zone. How have you liked the way that your group has defended when you've had to, and kept teams to the outside?
It's getting better. I mean, at the beginning of the year, we were a little bit all over the place in our own zone, trying to pick up some new things. Our structure positioning is much better, where we feel like we have the inside taken care of a little bit more than we did before. The next step of it is making sure it's the competitive side, where when you're in a one-on-one for a puck battle, we have to find a way to win those more often. And then once we do get it, as I mentioned earlier, it's about completing that next play so we don't have to spend extra time in our own zone.
Have you, over the years, been concerned, just going into a holiday break, that guys' heads may not be in the right spot?
I used to hate it junior time, I can tell you that much, because they were most definitely, but I don't, for my time up here, I feel like there are pros and they understand the season, they understand the time of the year, and they make sure they're ready for these games. So typically, also with the situation that we're in, there's importance on these games. So we have to make sure we're ready to play. But I haven't really felt that way at this level.
Have you guys talked about a goal in terms of where you want to be coming back from these two?
We have different things that we follow for sure along the way. Yeah.
You guys have Anaheim coming up on Friday, and they're a group that have shown to kind of be a little bit streaky and can really upset teams. What are you expecting from them, and what do you guys need to do to keep rolling and build on hype?
Yeah, a very hard-working team. I mean, that's one thing that we know for sure that we're going to see from them, but I do still feel like this is about our team, and we have to make sure we're doing things the right way. So as much as you prepare for your opponent, you know what their tendencies are, we have to be really good at what we're trying to do if we want to have success.
How have you seen Elias Lindholm handle, like you're playing him a minute more than he's ever played in his career on average. How have you seen him handle that workload?
I think he's done a good job with it. There's certain days where we would have probably liked to have offered him maintenance day, if you want to call it that. But there's also been times when we've thought about it where he says, no, I want to skate. Because sometimes when you're playing more, even just getting on the ice for a little bit of a lighter skate at times, it makes the body feel pretty good. So it's a lot of minutes, and the challenge that we have with him is those minutes are heavy against top lines. There's penalty kill, there's power play. He kind of does everything for us. So we as coaches do have to do a job of managing his time off the ice as well.
It's easy for everyone to look at the dip in offensive numbers with him, but do the minutes speak to what he's giving your group?
He's funny. Well, not funny, but we expect him to generate offense for us. But he's also a guy that we expect to play against top lines. So his 200-foot game is right up there in the league, in our opinion, the way he plays the game. When you're a pure offensive guy, a lot of times coaches will start you in the offensive zone on faceoffs. But in Lindy's situation, like you can use an example like the New Jersey game. Every faceoff in the defensive zone that Hughes was on the ice, so was Lindy. So that takes away a little bit of his offensive ability because he's not in those situations. We have to trust him in other areas as well.
What have you seen out of your power play? You look like you've been practicing it the past few days. Where do you want to see it grow the most?
Well, it has to have impact, and that's the biggest thing for us. That maybe shifting mentality a little bit on it, but I guess getting the players to understand that they're all good players and they're on there for a reason too. So move the puck around with confidence, be quick with what they're going to try to do, and shoot the puck. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So it's a privilege to be on a power play, and I think sometimes you have to treat it that way as well.
So is that like would you consider another personnel change? Like how does
Sure.
a coach try?
Yeah, just like we have over this last little while, we would for sure.
Are you going to start Gilbert in the shootout, or is he going to be your third guy?
You ask him, he'd bet you $100 that he'd score all the time. He's hilarious. Yeah.